Welcome to Heroes Rising, hosted by Sifu Rafael, a master instructor, public speaker, and the founder of Speaking Prowess. Known for his expertise in empowering individuals through the art of communication and leadership. Alongside him is co-host Jose Escobar, an acclaimed personal development speaker, 18-time published author, and founder of 2 thriving businesses, including the Connected Leaders Academy. Together, they bring you dynamic conversations with world-class entrepreneurs, industry icons, and visionaries. Heroes Rising is your go-to source for wisdom, motivation, and unstoppable growth. Join us and discover the hero within you.
Jose, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Happy Friday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you're not in your regular space where you have all these incredible books around you. You decided to treat your family. Tell us a little bit, and then we're going to get on with the show. I love this, what you're doing.
Yesterday, May 7th, was my one of my daughter's birthdays. Avila, she turned 7 years old yesterday, Thursday. And this Sunday, Mother's Day, coincidentally, is my other daughter's birthday. She turns 9, excuse me. And so 7 and 9. So it's both of their birthdays, 3 days back to back. And we said, you know what, this year, instead of doing multiple birthday parties, why don't we just go to Deep Creek Lake here in Maryland, which is a beautiful area. And there's this Airbnb here that we love called the Bear Creek Lodge. So we rented out this place for 4 days, and it's gorgeous. It has all kinds of cool things here, and they love it here because we come here every winter. So we said, why don't we just go there as a family, and we'll just have a blast for 4 days, and we'll have some toys and gifts and cake and just have a good old time, just us. And they love the idea. So we're here. I'm here till Sunday, and I'm in one of the rooms here. So not as exciting as my background at home, but always fun nonetheless.
But the whole thing is that you're with your family and you're doing something great together. So
yeah, that's what it's all about, right? I have 6 kids. For those who don't know, I have 6 kids. My 18-year-old is actually here from college. He's on summer break, so he's with us, which is a full house now. So we're excited that we're all together.
Love it. Let's go ahead and bring out. So you and I are like brothers, right? So we're like family as well. So let's go ahead and bring out 2 guests who are incredible human beings. Let's bring Joe and Catherine. Hello. Good Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Yes.
I love the topic today, rise under pressure. And so many people can interpret that in so many different ways. I'd love to hear your interpretations.
Catherine, you want to kick us off?
I will totally kick you off. I think it's, kind of when, and things do happen, especially if you're an entrepreneur, when the pressure starts coming in, perhaps something that you're not familiar with, perhaps something from the outside is interfering or threatening your business. How do you respond to that? And the good ones, just have a great plan to get out of a situation where there are some other people that just pull back and either don't do anything or they do the wrong thing because they're just not thinking clearly. So for me, it would be, pressure comes and you are able to respond in a very intelligent way.
Yeah, I'd piggyback off that. How do you respond and stay true to your values and stay true to who you are? And for me, that's all about leadership. And we can have that plan, but that plan falls apart. And it's how do we adapt to the moment? But again, staying true to who we are. And that is the best hero we can be if we always remain true to our values.
Oof, I like that. Remain true to your values. So many people lose it when it comes to staying true who they really are supposed to be, right? Listen, I know Jose, and that's why I had this conversation with before we brought you guys on, because his values are definitely so dead on family first, right? God, family, and I'm the same way, right? So, Jose, I'd love to hear your take on it as well.
Yeah, strong topic, and like you said, I think having your order of operations in life is important because from what I've experienced in business and all the conversations I have, like many of you here today, there's just sometimes the order of operations is like this when it should be like this, right? The paradigm is just kind of out of order. I don't think pressure is really the problem. I think being unprepared is the problem.
Mm.
So pressure is really just the feedback that comes from not being prepared properly. And for me, I don't really blame pressure per se, because I think pressure can be, you can look at it from two different angles. As Dr. Phil says, it doesn't matter how flat you make a pancake, it still has two sides, right? So pressure could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. But I think ultimately, just keep condensing it for the sake of our 1 hour together, pressure exposes lack of systems, habits, discipline, if you ask me.
Well, think about babies, right? They feel love. That's why they get wrapped around that blanket so tightly, because they want to feel that pressure of love. So rising under pressure, to me, also thinks about a seed, right? You plant the seed, and the pressure, it forces it to go through that pressure to come up, right? So there's so many different ways we can look at this. And even like snuggling, right? That's pressure. You're feeling the pressure, but you don't want to snuggle 24 hours, 7 days a week, because then all of a sudden it's no longer pressure, it's confinement. So, I don't want to be confined, but yes, I do like a hug and I like to cuddle. But I also enjoy the pressure, like when I go to lift weights, right? Without the pressure, I won't get strong. Mm-hmm. So I need the pressure in order to rise. I need to know that, hey, you know what? When everything's coasting really good, there's going to be a bump. And if you're not prepared for that bump, the fall is going to be hard.
I think that really starts tapping into the term rising too, because you're rising under pressure. So you are going in a positive way once you kind of get through that pressure point.
Yeah, and there's that cliche of how do you make diamonds? You got to add the pressure. Right. And it's how do you continue to use that pressure to get to where you want to go and really make it foundational to who you are and not get overwhelmed by that pressure as well.
Joe, I want to tap into something that you do, because you understand pressure probably 630 times more than any one of us has, if I'm right on my number, because you have flown up and then jumped out of an airplane without you had the parachute, thank goodness, but without anybody saying, hey, Joe, don't do that, come back. You were like, I'm going to feel the pressure of going up. I'm going to feel the pressure, the push of the wind on my face. And then you said, somehow I'm going to survive this thing. But it was pressure, because most people won't do that at all. My brother, who used to be a Marine, was a paratrooper. So he had to jump out of helicopters, right? A little different than parachuting, which is a little higher and it's a little bit more comfortable. When you paratroop out of a helicopter, it's not really that much further to the ground, so it's more dangerous. But still, what you did, nobody pushed you into it. I don't know if you were pressured. Maybe your friends coaxed you the first time, but you got addicted to it. For you to jump, how many times was I right on the number?
I'm almost at 700 now. I think I'm at like 690 skydives. Yeah,
and it's for me a new experience, right?
Yes, I love it. It's a sport where there's always something to learn, always a challenge to get better. And to your question, I use skydive as a metaphor for all aspects of my life of growth and how I love to work and coach others, which is we see these things that are sometimes so far out of our reality that we could never jump out of a plane or get on a podcast or get on stage or start my own business. And funny enough, when we take that first step, it still feels sort of like that challenge. But when you do it enough times, it becomes that daily practice almost. This past weekend, I think it was 14 skydives in 3 days. I've done 11 in 1 day before. And it just becomes this part of who I am. But it takes that pressure to push yourself out of your comfort zone to take some of those first steps. And yeah, I love just the analogy that skydive has brought to my life and how I can then think about so many other challenging aspects of other parts of growth as well.
I'm going to draw a parallel between that and pressure too, because with some pressure, I will fully admit, I do get a little bit of an adrenaline rush too, because if nothing gets exciting, then, it's just kind of another boring day. But if some big challenge comes up, I know that if I get through that, it's just going to make it that much better. But again, it increases that heart rate and, kind of gets you thinking really quick when a pressure situation does come up.
I've got to say, first of all, that's super impressive, Joe. All those skydives. My goodness gracious. I don't think I know with certainty I've never done a skydive, and I probably never will.
We'll work on that.
Say the word yet.
You can make it happen, and then you get the award. You get an Oscar. But I can tell you right now, I literally the closest I've gotten to that is a bungee jump at King's Dominion. Right? It's like the little swing, the fake me out swing that just does this. That's the closest. And I said, "Oh heck no, this is not for me." Right? Going back to the whole topic of pressure, yes, I have learned to operate well off of pressure, right? I think any successful entrepreneur that you find out there has to be good at responding to pressure, because otherwise we fold and we collapse. I've gotten to a point where I became a professional plate spinner, right? I have so many different plates in the air that I'm spinning, and I'm just trying to keep them all up. And I realized more times than I can count that I've taken off too many planes in the air before I can land a couple, right? And that's a dangerous place to be. So you want to make sure that you have that preparation, which is what I was saying earlier. You have the preparation, you have the discipline, you have the focus, you have the systems, right? Because we will always fall to the level of our systems. And the question is, what systems do we have in place? So for me, what I've learned over time is, yes, I operate well off of pressure, but that's not good for me long-term. That's not a long-term strategy. It is something that short-term you could be great at, but you got to put in the systems and the processes and the things in place to not have to operate off of pressure. So right now I'm in a season where I'm trying to reduce my pressure, because I know I'm great at pressure. As some of my best work has come when my back's against the wall, believe it or not, right? When I know I have to deliver a deadline and I know that it must be done, and people are counting on you and all eyes are on you, and you just have to do it or you fail, and the failure could be a massive one, some that you might not even be able to come back from, right? When it comes to business. So I know what it is to be in pressure, and I don't like it, to be honest. I don't like it, but I'm good at it. And I also know that in order for me to be a happy husband and a happy dad, and to be happy mentally, spiritually, emotionally in my day-to-day, forget just business, just on a personal level, I have to be the least pressure-free as possible, right? So now it's never going to exist because we're entrepreneurs and that's just part of the territory. But we want to do our best and strive towards the least amount of pressure possible by just being proactive in our day-to-day and how we're doing business.
Definitely.
It's worth mentioning that, it's worth mentioning that an entrepreneur really needs to be a problem solver almost 24/7. And that's what I really attracted me to starting my own business. I didn't know that was going to be the case at first, but as days would go on and on, there was always like a new little problem to solve every day, which you after a while, you start getting really good at it. And I always tell people that I mentor or whatever that if you're ready to start a business, if you are really comfortable with problem solving, having a little bit of pressure put on and trying to fight your way out of the corner or whatever. But some of the best entrepreneurs I know are just fantastic at solving problems.
Yeah. Jose, to your point.
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, for me, it's that hustle culture that I find so toxic, that we think that to be a successful entrepreneur or successful leader, you got to be hustling all the time. And why don't we take a step back and ask ourselves, why is everything on fire all the time? And to your exact point, Jose, typically it's the systems aren't there. The prioritization's not there. And when you recognize that, sure, there's going to be seasons of pressure. There's going to be seasons that things are going to fall apart and you got to create a new plan. But if that's 24/7, 365 days a year, something is broken with your business, with your leadership, with your process. And so I love the systems approach as well.
Mm-hmm.
I was just gonna say, I was gonna say something about Catherine, because I just met Catherine last week, and we hit it off. I think, in my perspective, anyway.
We did.
And
Let's get the true story. Did you hit it off? I'm just kidding.
We did. We had a great conversation.
Okay, good. All
why
right.
do you think she's here today? Because I asked, right? So, and for her, it was no pressure, because she saw that it was an alignment. So sometimes pressure is what we put on ourselves.
Mhm.
But when we really open up, is it an alignment that we're going for? That's why I brought Catherine up, because it was an alignment for her to be on the show with us today. And I'm so happy you said yes to it, because a lot of times people feel the pressure and they just don't know what to do with it. So when we can learn how to adapt as entrepreneurs, listen, I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. In high school, actually before high school, I started working at 10 years old. I was working at a bingo hall. I was cleaning a bingo hall. So did I have pressure then? I don't think so. Other people might have, but not me. I just knew I was getting paid at the end of the week. As a kid, getting $100 a week
Mm-hmm.
as a 10-year-old. Whoop, whoop. Hello, how you doing? Right? There's 10-year-olds who are not making 100 a week now, and it was cash. And who doesn't like cash? But I learned early on that as long as you do what you're supposed to do and you align with your purpose, the pressure is only what we put on ourselves. So do we rise, or do we align? Do we see, who do I want to be tomorrow if I don't take my actions today? If I don't align with my true mission every single day? And when Jose said yes to being my co-host on this show, it was just magical for me, because I know he and I are so well aligned that we have gotten closer and closer and closer, that I can say we're doing life together, right? And yes, he's happily married. I have a fiance, but we still can be happily as a team of heroes rising. But Jose's not just rising when he's on the show. He's rising constantly. I'm rising constantly. And so when we saw the alignment, it made sense. Just the way it makes sense when you look at your own life. What are you doing daily to become the person that you are going to be proud of, that your great grandchildren that you will never meet will be proud to say, that was my great grandfather or grandmother, right? That's what we need to become.
I have to piggyback off of that statement of doing life together. Yes, I agree. You're basically a brother from another mother, as they would say, right? So greatly appreciate it. I get pitched things all the time, like, hey, we should do this together. Would you like to co-partner on this? Do you want to come with me? I think we all get those kind of opportunities. And I used to say yes to everything. Like, yeah, sign me up. Yep, I'm in to all these different things. And then you realize your bandwidth isn't there. And you realize you start to get more gray hairs than you signed up for. And you start to realize that, yeah, I'm hiding my, you can't see the on purpose, my lighting. But anyway, so it's just, I started to realize that I was feeling so much pressure all the time to show up and perform. And everybody's expecting things from me, like this person needs that person needs that. Hey. And so I started to pull back, right? So now, I can tell you right now, which is my biggest thing that I'm talking about, is every morning I used to take calls as early as 6 a.m. right, all the way up to like 7 available. Like I had availability for people to book calls with me during that time frame, and I just never knew when there was calls, and my schedule would be crazy. Some days I take 15, 18 calls in a day, and each one is 45 minutes to who knows how long. And so then I started to pick up on the fact that I was just tired. I was feeling pressured. I was feeling like I was spreading myself too thin. I wasn't spending the time I wanted with my family, which is the whole reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. So now every morning I have an hour slow roast with my wife, is what we call it, right? So it's gonna be from 9 to 10. My first call is until 10 in the morning. So I have my morning routine, which is for me from 4 to 7. It's all me, pointing to me, which is what got me on the map in the first place, is having a strong morning, evening routine. So I went back to that. And of course, 9 to 10 is a coffee with my wife, just me and her, and the kids are playing, doing their thing. I eat dinner with my family every night. And then in the evening, when my wife is putting kids to bed, I do my evening routine, and then we spend an hour together on the end of the day. And throughout the day, here and there, I might go on a walk with my kids in my neighborhood. I might do whatever the case is. People ask me all the time, Jose, how do you do all of this that you do and still make time for your wife and your kids? And it goes back to the whole balance thing, right? And it's never going to be perfect. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I figured it out. I'm just saying that I am now striving more towards less pressure and having a easy paced lifestyle in business than trying to do it all. Right. And that's, now it's just very, very special. Now, in the same breath, I can also tell you that as I'm trying to pull back and I'm trying to do these things to do less and all that kind of thing, pressure is also, on the other side of the coin, a privilege, because it means you're in the arena, right? You're not in the audience. You're not on the sidelines bringing water to the players. You're not on the bench like the second round string of whatever's left over. And if they need you one game out of the season, no, I am a starter. I'm playing. I'm in the field. I'm in the trenches with all of you. So on some level, pressure is a good thing. But on the other end, it's like we also got to be cautious of the lifestyle that we're actually trying to achieve, because we might burn out before we get there.
Yeah, I think what you said is really valuable. And I usually like to encourage people to schedule that time that you need first before you schedule other things. I think the time is one of the most valuable things we have. And we, in many cases, give it away for free. So I like to be very cognitive of how I want to spend my time. And if I, like, for example, I do not usually schedule anything after 4. Not only is that a time where I start slowly unwinding, but I don't want anything to start bleeding into my evening unless it's my choice. If there's an event or something that I'm like, that's going to be a game changer for me, I will go. But weekends are a no. Those are for my family, much like your morning time with your wife. That is like a solid time that you've chosen to do with your time.
Love it. Well said.
Boundaries, right, is what we're talking about. Boundaries. We need to set boundaries. Sometimes we don't set boundaries even with ourselves. And what I mean by that is that we're busy doing this. But we don't set the boundaries. We set it for everybody else. No, I'm busy. I can't help you. But then we waste our own time scrolling, doing the wrong things. And so a lot of times people pick up the phone, the first thing they do in the morning, and they go, did somebody like my post? Did somebody like? Who cares? Who cares? If you died today, those people don't care. And the only people that are going to care are the people that know you, not some stranger, in Taiwan or Tokyo or wherever it is that your post got seen. Doesn't matter. So take care of you first. Set the boundaries for you, just like Jose talked about. He was able to get into the playing field when he decided to take time for himself, right? And that's one thing I learned very, very early on. I used to wake up early just to go help other people. Every day in high school, I used to go 0 period, which was an hour before classes started, to go help other people. On the weekends, on Saturdays, I used to go teach gymnastics. I was on the gymnastics team. I used to go to a different high school and teach gymnastics there. So always helping out other people. My mission in life has always been to help. But so what I realize is that I still need to help me first, right? And I come before everybody else. Am I selfish? Damn right. I am. I am the most selfish guy you'll ever meet, because it comes to me first. I can't help you if I'm falling apart. How can I do it? I can't. If I don't nourish me, how can I help nourish you? I can't do it. So this is why I also believe that every coach needs a coach, because imagine the pressure of learning something and it's going to take you 6 years to learn it. Meanwhile, if you have a coach, it's going to take you 3 to 6 months. I'll take the coach. You want how much? I'll take the coach. You how much? I'll take the coach. If you look at a coach who's going to give you something for free, take it. But then how much value does it have? And this is the one I'm going to stop here. I always say people who pay attention. People who pay a lot pay the most attention. So if I want people to pay attention to what I'm trying to help them with, I'm not going to charge a little. I'm sorry.
I like it. I interpret mentorship and coaching and consulting as like three different buckets. A mentor usually for me is a free person. I'm not paying. They're looking to just add value to my life. They're usually like 10 to 100 steps ahead of me. And whatever the case is, they're in give back mode. They're like, I just want to serve and help and the right people. And I don't necessarily care about the income, the revenue, what comes of this outside of the one-way street that I care about, and that's me pouring into you. That's more the mentor side. Then I see the coach side as somebody who says, hey, let me be a guide for you in business, and I'll give you the tools and the tricks, strategies, and the systems, and I'll say, this is what you should do, how you should do it, and I'll go do it, right? And I'll hold you accountable along the way, but you go do it. And then the consultant is going to come in and say, hey, I'm going to be a guide and a mentor and coach, but in the process, I'm also going to get in your business and get involved with you. More on the consultative side of things, like, hey, no, this is what we need to do, and we're gonna let me help you do this, and I'm gonna kind of go in and tweak some things with you along the way, and be more of a partner versus just a guide, right? So that's kind of the three layers that I kind of look at. I've had all three of those in my life, and I also am all three of those to other people. So I think it's a special thing.
I got to say, I had somebody ask me if I can mentor somebody. And I said yes. That means I was not going to be paid. I did it because they were a young person and they needed some guidance. It never happened. Because they did not want to do the work involved. When you think about it, right? If I'm going to give you something, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard. You're going to have to work for it because I'm not doing the work for you. So yes, being a mentor is such a gift for all of us. If we're not mentoring somebody, maybe we should. I'm going to just say, we don't realize, and what Jose said is so important. You want to have somebody whose leaps beyond you. And we forget that many of these incredible human beings are lonely, and they're living in a nursing home. And if you're not going to a nursing home and helping out, maybe volunteering, maybe doing something, go play a game with them, because guess what? And it's not about what can you give me? It's more about spend time with them. And if they see that you're valuable, they will pour into you. But for those of you who say, I can't afford a coach, don't pay for a coach. Go help. When you help, you will receive. Start volunteering at a nursing home. Go in there and play games, because sometimes they're sitting by themselves. They're not doing anything. I know I've been there, right? Not that I've been at a nursing home myself sitting there. I'm saying I visited and I've seen people and I've talked to them and I see what they're going through, and it's just loneliness. And so the most important thing that we can do in our lifetime is to make a connection with as many people as we can. So later on in our end of our lives, or when we're getting there, we're not alone, and that people will visit us and hang out with us, and we can share our knowledge with them.
I love volunteering with high school students. I do a lot of coaching and mentoring with them. And the number of times that they've helped me expand my own perspectives and understanding and abilities, where I realize you can't approach each person the exact same way. You really need to meet them where they are and who they are. And I completely agree with everything you're all saying, which is, how do we continue to give back, both in that free and through our business? Because it's about community for me. That's one of my values that I always focus on. How do we create a community where we care about each other, we support each other, and we can build each other up towards those goals and those dreams that we have? And sometimes it's those small little conversations that have the most impact. I've gotten feedback, I've gotten cards, I've gotten words of affirmation from people I've volunteered with. And it was a simple word or conversation I had that almost in passing. And they tell me, Joe, you took the time, you listened, you cared, you truly cared. And I recognize that's how I need to show up and how I want to show up, because exactly, again, what you were saying, it's that impact that we can have for others that drives our lives forward and drives other people forward. And that's the pressure too, where we sometimes don't see the impact. We think that we're spending so much time and energy and effort, and we don't have the tangible deliverables that we see in other ways in other businesses. But when you take that step back and realize that it's those small little conversations, the small little things, those can make the most meaningful impacts for other people.
And it could be a really great gift for somebody too. I try and think about, how can I deliver that sort of gift to someone every day? And it might be simple as when you go through checkout or whatever, you make a compliment to the person who's working behind the register or something. And it goes the same with just the people you work with personally. If you're being a coach or a mentor, it's like, what can I offer them today that could be possibly a game changer for them? And much like you said, Joe, when you get that feedback, from people, it starts to get just so fulfilling and almost a little addictive too. It's like, I can change people's lives here just by doing simple things.
Yeah. I'm glad that you brought up community. Jose, before you go on, I want to share this. Take a look.
Hi, my name is Jose Escobar, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Connected Leaders Academy. We're a growing tribe, a community of entrepreneurs all over the world, globally, all across the country, high performers, titans of industry. If you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to grow personally and professionally, scale your influence, develop your skill sets, move the needle in your business, more clients, more money, more profit, the bottom line, and of course, grow your circle and your network like never before, this is where you want to be. Join the Connected Leaders Academy today. We are scaling massively. We want to welcome you in. Check me out on Instagram and on Facebook, the @ JAESCO25. We look forward to having you join us. Take care.
See, I was going to talk about community there, but Jose, he's got a whole commercial on it. So you were going to say, Jose? Did he freeze? Oh, you're slightly frozen. You're muted, by the way.
Okay, so for some reason, whenever you put a commercial on StreamYard, I always get delayed by like 10 seconds. I don't know why, but anyway. No, so I was just going to say, when it comes to, I got to refilm that, by the way. That's completely outdated, but thank you. So in terms of the story I wanted to mention, which was kind of all around this topic of, mentorship and coaching and, all the things that we're doing, that all kind of leads back to pressure if we can tie it together. But ultimately, I would say that I remember when I was working for EFC, John Kukinos, him, Sifu. I was working for a global martial arts company, eventually got promoted to be the sales director for them for the US territory. Great career, helped a lot of martial arts school owners along their journey. And while I was there, when I got hired, John Kukinos, who I would consider a mentor of mine, he was the CEO of the company. So when he hired me, said, "You're hired," whatever. And then he took me to the restroom. And I've said this story before a long time ago, maybe on this show, who knows. But I'll keep it tight to like 90 seconds. So he took me to the bathroom. And I was like, where is this guy taking me, right? And he took me to the bathroom. And the bathroom, keep in mind, is very tight. It's like, like a 5 by 5 by, it's like real tight bathroom. We go in there, literally it's a toilet and there's a sink and there's like 4 walls, super tight. And we go in there and it's me and him in there awkwardly. And he says to me, "So look at this bathroom. What do you notice? What do you notice about this bathroom?" So I noticed that I said, it's the colors, these colors, it looks like this kind of style. And I said everything but the obvious, that the bathroom was kind of messy, right? So he said, okay, well, you see that little towel on the floor there, or the little rag, or paper towel that's crumbled up? So yeah, whatever. So he grabbed the piece of paper towel and he like put it in his hand like this, and he picked up the one on the floor and put it in the trash. You see all the water around the sink here, so he grabbed some paper towel and like wiped it down. You see this bottle of spray here, and you see that little dirtiness in the toilet right there. And then he opened the toilet and like sprayed it and like wiped it down. And he said, okay, so what I just showed you is the bathroom was dirty, right? And I said, yeah. And what did I do? He said, I said, you cleaned it up. He said, exactly. So let's go back to my office. So we go back to his office, and he says, Jose, the moral of this story is very simple. Any place you visit, any space that you're in, you always want to leave it better than how you found it. Okay? You know how many people will just see that piece of paper on the floor and never touch it and wait for the maid or somebody to come clean it up? You know how many people add to the mess and just make it messier over time? He's like, you just need to leave the space in a cleaner place than how you found it. It's not that hard. You know what that's called? That's called ownership mentality. I want you to have the ownership mentality of this place. If you walk into the front door, before you walk into this building, and there's a 20-ounce empty can of Coke on the floor, don't step over it, pick it up and put it in where it belongs, right? Treat this place like it's yours. This is your business. I want you to have that attitude. And then I was about to get up. He said, okay. And then as I was about to leave, strategically, he said, hey, one more thing. There's a bigger lesson here. And the bigger lesson is, I want you to apply that to the people that cross your path. Whenever you interact with somebody, always leave them in a better place than how you found them. Somebody should always walk away from you feeling they got value, they're inspired, they're motivated, they're equipped, they're believed in, they feel better about themselves, even if it's just a compliment that puts a smile on their face. Every person you talk to, you need to leave them in a better place than how you found them. I want you to apply those 3 principles as you work here moving forward. And I said, boom. And ever since that day, I can tell you right now, I have followed those ideas in terms of how I live my life.
Exactly.
About 8 years ago, I was volunteering and I was in a bathroom. A guy did exactly that, picked up some trash and put it away. And I was like, oh, I'm normally do that too. And he's like, yeah, I don't see anyone doing it. Well, he's one of my best friends now because we connected exactly over that just value system of caring about not only the space we're in, people around us. And it was just, we're a piece of trash. We're like-minded. We care. Let's build something together. It goes back to community, all about finding those people that have the same values, have the same passions, and how do you build each other up to have that ownership mentality.
Huge, very huge.
I saw I don't know if it was some sort of a message or something, and it was about a guy who was going for a job interview. And he sits there, and when he gets to it, there's like 30 or 40 other people in the same room waiting to be hired. But prior to him coming in, they had set up all these obstacles along the way, trash, dirt, all this different things, somebody falling. So they set it up for every single one. And he was the only one that got hired because he took advantage. He owned where he was walking. He owned his presence. So when he didn't even have to say anything, he walked into the office to be interviewed. He's expecting to have a conversation. And they go, you're hired. And he's like, what? Like, we already know who you are. Welcome to the company. But it's the little things that we neglect. Because and what do we call that? We call that integrity. That's what I teach every single day. I teach the kids that, because I have a martial arts school as well. I teach not only kids, but adults. And sometimes it's the adults that get the little things. But I'm teaching the kids. I say, hey, you know what? Those are my toys. They're like, those are not toys, that's equipment. I'm like, those are my toys. That's what I play with. Yeah, you call them punching bags, you call them gloves, you call them medicine balls. Those are toys for me. I said, if I came to your house and I didn't put your toys away after I played, would you want me back? And if I took and then threw and broke your toys, would you want me back? No. I said, so why are you treating my toys with no respect? I said, when you borrow my toys, you put them back. And a lot of times you'll have kids go, that's my spot. I said, wait a minute. That's my spot. I lend you that spot. Well, that's my whatever. I said, you're in my house. I lend you that. Don't forget, be respectful. And now you guys share it instead of it's mine, right? Or switch. It's yours now. And in 3 minutes, it's going to be his or hers. We have to start the lessons early on in life. But we forget that it's our future is walking around in diapers sometimes, or they're picking their nose. But it's for us to teach them and help them and guide them so that we have a brighter future. Because if we neglect them, we're neglecting our future.
That's so true, Sifu. And as long as that booger is going in a napkin and not in their mouth, that's important. But I was going to say, and also how intimidating. You're in my house. My goodness gracious. I'm just kidding. On a serious note, same going back to the original company I was talking about, EFC. I wish John Coquinos was watching this because I'm just, shutting him out here. I remember when I would walk in the building there, right above the door where I would walk in every morning, because I came in through a back door. I was always the first guy to show up there for a long time. So they gave me a key because I was the first guy to show up. I wish I could say I was the last one to leave, but I wasn't. But I was definitely the first one to show up. So I would open like a back door entrance, and in the back door where that nobody really goes through very often, there's a big sign even on the back door of the building where you walk in, and it says "Excellence starts here." Right before you even walk in the building. I was like, man, that just positions you mentally to be prepared to step into what you're supposed to be, right? Because a lot of us, we need a little reminder. We need a switch that's just going to put us in the right state of mind. That's just one thought there. But the other thing is on his coffee mug on his desk, John Coquinos' desk, as you walk into his office, it says on here in big letters, "See the good." See the good. And I'm like, I asked him, what does that mean? He's like, Jose, in everything and in everyone, you have to always see the good. And he says there's too many of us that are just looking for what's wrong with people, looking for what's wrong with the world, looking for what's wrong with this, why that, oh, you this, you that. He's like, no, just look to see the good. And when you start to have a perspective of trying to see the good in everything and everyone and in all circumstances, it's amazing how your disposition can shift and how life can be so joyful. And I'll say the last thing. I would catch him all the time in his office with his door open. He would leave his door open on purpose. He's an open door guy kind of guy, right? So his door would be open for the most part. And he would be sitting there with his legs crossed, looking out of his window. And he would have a pen in his hand. And he would just be tapping his desk, like every so often, just tapping the desk. He just kind of looking out the window like this with his arms crossed, like he's daydreaming, right? Just kind of like this. And he said that he learned this, I think, from his father, who originally founded a company, which is called tapping the pen. And it's like the whole concept of tapping the pen and just thinking, taking time to reflect and to think and to slow down, to speed up. Stillness is the key. Ryan Holiday, great book. And just stop all the things, all the music, the noise, the podcast, the YouTubes, the conversations, the internet, the scrolling, stopping everything and just looking out into the sky and tapping the pen and he says, I can't tell you how many ideas I've gotten just from doing that alone. And how many answers I've found to problems just doing that.
Yeah, I think both of your examples are really good to weave in the idea of making sure that you not only hire for values and for culture, but also how you find your clients as well that also meet those same, like meet that level of excellence, that, you know, take time to actually think about stuff, not always being in that chaos all the time. I've hired a lot of people in my tenure as a CEO, and that we always found the best success when we met people first with their values and if they would be a culture fit, because we knew that the skills could be taught for the most part. We like them obviously to have some sort of knowledge of what they're doing, but we would say yay or nay or to people based on whether or not we thought they would be a fit, whether or not they could work with my style of leadership. You know, like if, you know, I would also spend a lot of time just thinking, and people were like, well, what are you doing? And I'm like, this is a part of it, you know, and either you understand it or you don't. So yeah, that's also something I think worth mentioning, is that sort of thing is also really important to have, you know, with the people around you.
Yeah, cultural fit is so important. I'm also a vice president of a software engineering tech consulting company, and our company is about 11 years old. Half of our company has been with us over 5 years. A quarter have been with us over 10 years, because we always start with that cultural value fit first. Are you here that you care about the work you do? Are you passionate about the work you do? Are you a lifelong learner? And then it's that second part of the interview. Okay, what skills do you have? What do you know? What can you do? But we always start with that cultural fit first. And it's then proof in the pudding. We have people that are here for the long run, because we're so aligned in those values, so aligned in supporting each other. And Jose, to your point about assume positive intent, there's been so many times with the work we do supporting government efforts where it's just, it's a madness. And we're like, okay, how do we take a step back, assume that people are approaching this in a positive way? And how do we pivot our thinking to think of the best thing we can get out of it? I remember several years ago now, I was in a meeting with me and my company president, and we're literally getting yelled at. And I'm just like, well, this is not how I expected this meeting to go. And luckily we got some food, we decompressed, and then we asked ourselves, what was this individual trying to really tell us through her yelling at us? And then also, how do we move forward and take something out of this meeting? And ultimately, we had some very great success on a product we created for some people for the government, because of us reframing, really looking at how we can move forward instead of sitting in this negative space of, well, we just got yelled at for an hour, I'm going to go home and not want to do anything. And it's a challenge. Failure one time for me, I was going to hop on stage. I was about to do a workshop, and I found out several minutes before, oh, we're cutting it by 15 minutes. And I made a snarky comment to the host. And in the moment, I recognized that's not who I want to be or who I am. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm stressed right now. I just recognized I'm losing 15 minutes, but that's no way for me to respond. I'm sorry. And in pressure situations, it's how do we catch ourselves as a business owner, as a leader, even just as a person. And if we don't, then it's how do we, after the fact, go back, right that wrong, or at least learn a little bit from that experience. And luckily for me, in that moment, I adapted and responded, but it took a failure to then see the learning lesson from it.
Absolutely.
It's important to recognize where we are, right? And like you said, you recognize the failure, and some people recognize the failure and they look for a rug. Can I put it under the rug? We shouldn't do that, right? I want to share one more, maybe two more videos with you guys. Just take a look.
You followed the rules, tried the restrictions, counted the carbs, the steps, and the failures. You're not lazy, you're exhausted from doing it all without real change. What if the problem isn't you, but the plan? Sifu's Mind-Body Method is a 90-day transformation built on 7 unshakable pillars: mindset, movement, nutrition, hydration, fasting, journaling, and faith. This isn't another shortcut. It's your structure, your strength, your reset. You don't need harder, you need better. Ready to begin? Start today.
That's it. Start today. Jose's actually part of my program. But he's delayed, remember, 10 seconds. Jose, I said that you're delayed 10 seconds. I said you're also part of my program, and so is your lovely wife.
Yeah.
Can you just say one thing about what your son, your 18-year-old son came and your wife posted about it, and I thought it was hysterical. I don't know if you know what she posted.
I don't know what she posted, so I can't speak.
I'm going to tell you right now. He said, "Mom, what's with all this healthy food?"
Oh yeah, no, he said that multiple times. So yeah, he's like, "What the heck? Where's all the good stuff?" You know, like. But anyway, no, I've been a part of Sifu's Mind Body Method. I don't know, for 9 months now, 10 months, something like that, and maybe less. I don't know, but it's I've lost 20 pounds since I joined your program, and I've kept it off, so that's a good thing because you can lose it and then find it again. So I've kept it off. And then my wife, she's like contemplating being a bodybuilder now, and she's in the best shape of her life prior to all her 6 kids. And she's loving it. And our lifestyles are different. We're loving it. Our family's getting adjusted to it. The kids are starting to eat healthier in general. Noah's still, trying to get hip with it. Not really. But at some point, I'm sure he will. But yeah, I love it. Great program for sure.
Appreciate that. So let's think about our topic, how we started and where we've come with this great conversation. And the only reason that this conversation can move around like it has is because of you guys, right? Your thought patterns, the way you think, the leaders that you are, right? Because, and this is why I like the collective here that we have with this Heroes Rising, because I think I told Catherine I saw her cape the other day, right? Or I'm seeing it now, if anything. Every one of you is a hero to me, because when you're on my shows, when you're here even today, you're helping with our mission, which our mission is to elevate as many people as we possibly can. So thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
You guys want to see another video? I can tell. Okay, I'm gonna throw one more. Here we go. This one is a really good one. We're gonna give Jose time to catch back up afterwards. But Jose, you're gonna love this one as well. Take a look.
The city never sleeps, and neither do the dreamers who build its pulse. From every corner of the globe they come. Visionaries, creators, leaders, each carrying a spark ready to ignite the world. This is not an event, it's a revolution of rhythm and reason. A symphony of minds, a movement of momentum. Sifu, Rafael, Lancelot, Jose Escobar. Together they set the stage for brilliance. This is the NYC experience. Mastermind, light up the city. They coming from the east, coming from the west. Knowledge on deck, put the truth to the test. Leaders in motion, hearts in sync, dropping wisdom so deep it'll make you think. They bring stories, sweat and flame, different faces, one shared name. Elevation, that's the sound. NYC experience, mastermind, where purpose is found.
I gotta tell you, we are excited for Atlanta. It's going to be an incredible time. We're always looking for high-level people to be in the room with us, because we only bring high-level people. So anybody, if you know anybody who's a high level, and if you're a high level, you should be in Atlanta with us.
Fantastic. Well, I guess I'll try it. Otherwise, he's going to play another video.
Go for it. We're good. No more video.
That was a great song. By the way, that song right there just makes me want to dance. And I saw themselves either. I saw them doing their thing, but we definitely want to see if anybody out there is watching or even on this platform as we're staring at you right now, Catherine and Joe. We would love to have you in Atlanta. It's going to be an awesome event. I'm excited about it. Every single event we've done under the NYC Mastermind Experience has been just that, an experience that is unforgettable. Collaborations, all kinds of cool things come from it, and people love it, and we're going to keep doing it, and we're going to keep expanding. So anyhow, in terms of something that I was thinking about as, we were watching these cool videos that Sifu created, I can tell you that the biggest thing that for me that helps me with pressure, since we're going back to the main topic of the whole purpose of this live, is pressure. Habits. I'm all about morning routine, evening routine. Anybody who knows me knows I wrote a book called Winning the Day, An Entrepreneur's Guide to Morning, Evening Routine Mastery. So I teach fundamentally what put me on the map, coach, was the bookends of your day. What do you do when you wake up? What do you do before you go to bed? So you can create maximum productivity, high performance throughout your day, personally and professionally, right? So that's kind of my bread and butter. That's foundationally what I'm about. And for me, habits, having the right habits in place are going to protect you under pressure, right? If you have the right habits, it's going to protect you under pressure, or frankly, it's going to expose you. It's either going to protect you or it's going to expose you based on where you're on your journey. So again, I always say it, and I'll say it again, the 6 Ps: proper prior planning prevents poor performance. Right? If you're prepared with the 6 Ps, you have the right habits in place, and you have some cool systems and structure to your days. You don't just wake up and go where the wind blows. You have structure, you have SOPs, you have operative things that you do that you understand. This is how I move. This is how I live. This is from the moment I wake up to the time I go to bed, I know what I'm doing. It doesn't mean you have to be like a robot, every minute of the day. And there's something called white space. There's something called downtime, and it's okay to build that into your schedule. But when you are looking at how you start and how you end, you have to have some kind of a semblance of order. Otherwise, pressure will show up, and then it'll expose the heck out of you.
Yeah, I will add to that just by saying in my book, The Rules of the Game for Women in Business, I do highlight consistency. I think in many cases, people think they're going to try something, but they don't continue with it. And there are definitely some things as an entrepreneur that you need to do consistently. Sometimes it might be painful to start, but once you start seeing some momentum building, then it is definitely worth sticking with.
No book on my end yet, in the works. But definitely piggybacking on both of those things. Yeah, it's those systems and habits. As you alluded to, I've jumped out of over almost 700 airplanes, and it's not something we just do lightly. It's how do you build foundational skills? How do you build processes? How do you do those double checks? Not only for skydiving, but for your business, for leadership as a manager, that builds the safety net that allows you not only to succeed, but to push yourself, especially when that pressure starts mounting, especially when you want to take that next leap, that next step up. And so I love the habit thought. I love the process thought, because that's how you move forward and build through pressure.
Hearing you talk, Jill, that is just illustrating to me that this book is starting to write itself.
That's what I've been told. It's working itself.
Joe, in about 60 seconds, tell us about your first jump, and was it under pressure?
Man, so funny enough, my first and second jump, no, because I was so just secure with knowing the instructors were holding on. The third jump is where I went spinning out of control, and they literally had to save my life, because that was when the first pressure started, where they let go. And so with leaders, it's all about, when are we getting let go, and do we have the safety systems in place?
So you no longer have people holding you anymore?
No, that stopped happening about 680 jumps ago.
I got to tell you, what an incredible show. Thank you both for being here and making it so. What we'd love to do right now is, Catherine, we're going to put your information down the bottom of the screen. Tell us what somebody, you have about 45 seconds. Tell us what somebody can expect when they connect with you.
Yeah, I gave my LinkedIn address, and what they can find is that is where I post all of my links to Substack, that I have all my blogs. I also have a newsletter on there that is only for visionaries, because we speak in a different language. We like sparkly things. It's how to, kind of control all of that. And then there'll be ads up there too that are just in the feed as far as how to find my book. So all the information you would ever want to know about me and more will be on LinkedIn.
Nice. Excellent. Thank you. Joe, you're up.
Same thing. Hop on my LinkedIn, connect with me there. If you do, send me a DM, pressure, so I know that you found me through this amazing conversation with these three other awesome individuals. And then we can really start diving into how we build pressure into your lives to get you to the next step.
Ooh, love that. All right. Jose.
Well, first of all, Catherine, Joe, you guys were amazing today. Thank you for being a phenomenal guest and for adding value to all of our viewers. And I learned just from listening to both of you, so thank you for that, number one. Number two, I will very quickly say my final thought that I would love to leave people on before I give you my website is you should probably consider building a pressure playbook. Okay, when I say pressure playbook, I just simply mean, what do you do when pressure hits, right? If I had to put it into a very simple, basic, fundamental formula that I use that's good for me is, who do you call, right? Not Ghostbusters, but who do you call? Great movie, by the way. Who do you call when pressure hits? Do you have a mentor? Do you have a coach, advisor, consultant, a best friend? Do you talk to your spouse? What is your plan? Like, who do you talk to? Who do you call, right? What do you review? Do you review numbers, metrics? What do you look at to determine what the next step is? And of course, what do you do? What are the specific, key word there is specific. What are the specific steps that you take in order to get through that pressure period? Because a lot of us get stuck there and then we don't do what we need to do. So food for thought, create your own pressure playbook. It can change your entire results in terms of the end result. So, and my website, connectedleadersacademy.com, www.connectedleadersacademy.com. If you're an entrepreneur, you want to scale, grow, relationships, podcasts, live events, all the things, speaker, this is a great hub for you. Just check out my website. You can book a call with me there. As a matter of fact, Sifu is a long-lasting member of the community. Joe is a member of the community, and we're about to catch up on a virtual coffee. And Catherine, the door is wide open. So anyway, that is it for me. So, Sifu, final thoughts.
Yes, I got to tell you, definitely Catherine and Joe, thank you so much for impacting so many people the way you do. And please never stop, right? We need people like you. We need people who help drive change, because we can't stay the same. We need to change daily. And if you have kids, change their diapers more than once. But so, and when you think about the pressure, right? We all have to rise. And you talked about a pressure cooker, kind of. Because when you put things in a pressure cooker and you time it right, it comes out delicious. So are you in a pressure cooker now? Are you going to come out delicious? So think about your future, right? So do me a favor. I love helping people. My mission in life, what God has put in my heart and in my mind, is to help as many people as I possibly can. And there's so many different ways, from helping everybody. Just reach out, sifurafael.com. I'm easy to find. And if you ever thought that your business was the most important thing you ever had in your life, you're 1,000% wrong. It's your health. Without your health, your mission will be lost. Your business will go under. God bless you, everybody. Do me a favor, share the show with everybody who needs to hear it today. And if you guys want to hang out in the green room for a minute, I have a minute, and then we will chat. Everybody, see you next time.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.